The Defence Ministry has approved yet another list that progressively bans the import of 928 subsystems, components, spares and line replacement units of military equipments and platforms by defence PSUs to promote self-reliance. Now, in continuation of the first three such lists, which contained a total of 1,238 items announced in December of 21, March of 22 and then subsequently in August of 2022, of 928 listed items through different routes under Make in India category and in-house development. On the show today, what does the ban on import means? What is the new list? Why is the new list significant? And how the Make in India push for defence sector is panning out? Joining me at this point in time is Major General Retired Major General AK Channan. Sir, thanks very much for taking time out. I want to first begin by asking you, of the 928 items that are now stand to be banned in a gradual phased out manner, what are the big heads under these 928 sub list or sub items that we can see being banned by India in coming few days or months?
So thank you very much for inviting me on your show, and this is a very relevant topic as far as this indigenization lists in a progressive manner that they have been issuing out since 2020, August of 2020, yes. So what is basically happening is that when we wanted to move away and actually start doing the Make in India, actually Make in India is also two phases. In the first phase, that is in between 2014 and 2019, the emphasis was on Make in India, which was, a very smaller subset, which was looking at manufacturing in India and trying to create some small technology value chains here and there. After 2019, the focus shifted and it moved on to Atmanirbhar Bharat. So that's a bigger and a broader kind of a context of Make in India, in which we start building our own technologies, we start developing our own IPRs, we start having a testing, evaluation, certification regime, and of course the manufacture, etc. happens. So firstly, this is a much bigger thing that is happening. Now, when you start actually making a complete end-to-end shift, that is the time that you will need to provide the right kind of incentives to the industry to make sustainable business models for them at the small, medium, and the larger levels. So the first step in this was to make certain lists of items that we will not import anymore. So those become preferential access of the Indian industry to the consumer. So in the first list came out in August 2020, then subsequently a year later. All these lists have been very well thought out. All these lists are not immediate. They give a certain time frame for the existing contracts to kind of taper off, and also give the time for the Indian industry to understand and start kind of building their own technologies, or start creating alliances in a manner that they are able to, in the next 1 year, 2 years, able to fully take on and cut out the imports. So that is broadly how these lists have panned out.
All right. Of the 450 items in the fourth list, and I want to just break it down for the benefit of our viewers at this point. There are different kinds of components, as you mentioned. Magazine firefighting systems, 260 are related to gas turbine generators, 147 to shafting. The list also includes several items that is connected to HTT-40 trainer aircrafts, including main nose wheeler tires and multifunction systems. It is an extended list, sir, of the earlier 1,238 items which were banned. I want to understand how many of them have been indigenized at this point in time, and what is remaining from the previous list before we come to the next list.
Okay, each list had its own trajectory, each list had its own timelines. So by and large, these whatever timelines we've gone through, by and large, we've been able to actually indigenize things well before the laid down timeline. The Indian industry has actually risen up to the challenge and moved actually ahead of the various timelines. Obviously, that doesn't mean all of those 1,098 items have been indigenized. There are some which are not getting, which actually have not, the numbers, etc., are so small, or the population in the system is so small that it is really not becoming a very fit business case to do it. Otherwise, as far as technology, as far as the capability of Indian industry is concerned, as far as the policy is concerned, and as far as the right incentives are concerned, everything is fully in place, and all the lists actually, as per intent, have moved ahead of schedule.
Okay, but from what the data that I have, sir, and this is the official data that has been provided, out of the 1,238, only 310 have been indigenized. Are you saying that we are on track?
Yes, because as far as the timelines that have been given for indigenization,
Okay.
whatever have been the laid down timelines, things are actually happening as per the timelines, and we are well within the timelines. As I said, there are a few such items where it is probably, indigenization just doesn't happen because of the spirit of getting indigenized. It has to make business sense to actually bring. If the numbers are small, if the population on the other side is very small, and the effort of trying to build your own capabilities far beyond, it doesn't make a good business sense, then obviously those things will probably, the business will not take them forward.
All
But
right.
by and large, these are well thought out lists, and I wanted to reiterate this, that whatever has been the impetus that it has given, things are happening well ahead of time.
Okay, things are happening well
Yeah.
ahead of time. What's the timeline that we're talking about for the current list, sir? And I also briefly want to talk about, how the defense PSUs are faring at this point in time. This is the fourth list that we are seeing. What is our in-house capability like? And you said that we are doing better and we're moving in the right direction. Of course, there's a timeline that we're adhering to. If you could briefly touch upon what our capabilities are as opposed to, compared to last 5 years, how much we've done better or worse, could briefly give us some sort of sense there.
Okay. So as far as the current list is concerned, this is largely actually, this is fully a list that has been released by the DPSUs. And in this particular list, bulk of the items are from the MDL. I think more than 900 items are line items from the MDL. The timelines for this list have already, we are in, May of 2023. The timelines for indigenization will be laid down as December of 2027. So you can see how much of a lead time they give for the industry to kind of understand, for the academia to get involved and build, those kind of critical technology gaps, or those little technology blocks which are required to take this forward.
Okay.
Uh, so that is how this particular list has been panned out, barring just a few items which we need immediately. So the timeline is, I think, that just be about 5 or 10 items which are at 2024. Rest of it is all panned out well across to December 2027.
All right, Major General AK Channan, thanks very much, sir, for your time and for your inputs on that story. We will keep tracking that story and its details as and when they emerge.